Salutations. I was listening to this debate and I couldn't help myself thinking it was through debate, arguing back and forward, that people, humans, philosophers discovered that there's actually two selves. Not to be confused. They are fused, they are one, ultimately, but they must not be confused. There's a distinction to be made. One of these selves is eternal, is transcendent, is spiritual, and that part only cares about the facts, logic, natural order, cares about beauty, the truth, justice. Yes? And you notice when people are arguing back and forward, which one of these is actually behind the wheel of the vehicle, behind the wheel of this body, this meat suit. The other one that is part of the one is fused but must not be confused. He's more interested in winning. He doesn't care about the truth, doesn't care about logic or facts. No, this other one is more cared about the feelings, the subjective, the psychosis. He's more interested in that. He's more interested in the logical fallacies. Oh, yes. It uses all sorts of logical fallacies during the confrontation and all sorts of contradictions. They say something and they do something else. And this other self doesn't see irony, doesn't understand comedy. For comedy is closer to the truth, closest to the divine than anything else. For it to be funny, it has to ring some truth, you know? It has to be closer to the truth. If it's not funny. Therefore, people who are good comedians, they are wise and close to the divine. Also, they are good at art. For instance, some people just can't do memes. They do not understand the logic, the magic of memes. So these two selves must not be confused. They are fused, they are one. One is eternal and the other is temporal. The eternal, yes, when the eternal comes into contact with the material world, this other emanates, this other, like an alter ego emanates, okay? This alter ego is what we call feelings, emotions, mental machinations. This other one, the shadow, this other one is in love with the roller coaster of emotions, anger, envy, jealousy, especially jealousy. If you go into politics, most political parties are hubristic and jealous of everybody. Hubris is more the religious types of the scientism, you know. They are the hubris, and the so-called elites. They are hubristic. Jealous and anger are more into the side of the politicians. The reason why people who have a different inclination sexually should never be allowed into politics, It's because, or any responsibility, a place with huge responsibility. It's because if they are not centered, if they are not in equilibrium with their selves, yeah, then they will project their dysfunctionality. So when you get one of those into power, and I've heard this from someone who has the same issues, they said, we cannot control it. We are horny, quote unquote, 24/7, he said. And we are constantly masturbating, you see. And because we cannot control ourselves, we envy those who can. And we project our dysfunctionality into everybody else. Try to share the hell that we are living in, you see. They should not be in positions of power. This is part of traditions. Never let someone who has, don't want to say the name, who's homo, someone who has a different orientation than the usual, you should not let him, because they will project their dissatisfaction, they will project their dysfunctionality, because they are they're over horny all the time and they cannot control it. So they are very promiscuous and polygamous. And that's why certain, diseases are very prominent amongst these, I tend to think that when you exchange fluids with someone, you are altering their DNA, quote unquote. You are living in an imprint in this other person, yes? The more time you spend with them, the more you become fused with them, yes? So if you are able to get them pregnant, then it will be a perfect, copy of the two selves, the female and the male. If, for instance, a woman spend 10 years with the same guy, and all of a sudden she has an affair and gets pregnant by some other guy, chances are this child has more DNA from the person she spent more time than from the new guy. Yeah, there's going to be some vestige of the new guy, but so what I'm trying to say is, when someone is polygamous and they have confronting DNAs, battling, they become erratic, dysfunctional, borderline. Yeah, they become crazy. Analogously speaking, when you are, ejaculating, it's almost like you are downloading, or should I say you are uploading, some files into the other person. It's literally that. You are uploading some files, and the receiver, takes the files and joins, you know what I mean? So that's why it's very important to have intercourse the right way. Because if you don't have intercourse the right way, or if you put a piece of rubber in the middle, or you're just sabotaging yourself and the other. You're sabotaging the whole experience. You're sabotaging this spiritual experience, which is a bodily, function and a spiritual experience, a spiritual activity. Yeah, the act of reproduction in all cultures has always been a spiritual activity to prepare. It's almost like warming up to the day that you get pregnant, and it is with the same partner. I mean, it's polygamy. I mean, the reason why the biggest, name you can call someone is son of a, because people who are unfortunately born out of, a prostitute, they have conflicting forces, conflicting DNAs, quote unquote, and they might be, borderline dysfunctional, etc. So if you want a society of stable people, they have to be monogamous, yeah, and do not be promiscuous, meaning only have sex with one person. To avoid confrontation, jealousies. To avoid jealousy, is highly, highly corruptive. I don't buy when people say, oh, he's marrying two women or a woman is marrying two men. There's always going to be jealousy. It's not going to last. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I think I'm going to shut up.